Hello, welcome back to day two, part one video of day two. So we'll be talking about variables in this class, variables in JavaScript. So if you don't understand variables, JavaScript will feel very, very confusing forever. These are the basics that you need to master and get them understand them very well. So in this video, I will explain variables in JavaScript in the simplest possible way. There will be no big drama, no confusion. I will give you very good examples. So by the end of this video, you will clearly understand the let keyword, the const keyword, and the var keyword, and you will know exactly which one to use like a real developer. So what is a variable? Okay. A variable is a container used to store information so we can use it later. Okay, let me break this thing down. When you store data in a computer, whether in your phone or in a computer, they are being stored in the memory, in the computer's memory. Okay. So when you store a variable, when we are storing a variable, a value in a variable, we are actually storing a value in the memory location, and then we are giving it a name. So imagine a labeled boss. Okay, if you have a boss and you label it. Now the boss label is equal to the variable name. So that boss has a label. That's the name of the boss, or that's the label of the boss. But that label is the variable name. Okay, so whatever that is inside of it is the value. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. So look at what we have here. We say let age equal to 25. Okay, we are actually using the let keyword to create this variable. So, but the variable name here is the age, and the value we are storing in this variable is 25. Let me break it down. This 25 is an integer value that we are storing somewhere in the memory location. But the thing is that the names of memory locations are not human readable. So JavaScript is making it easier for us to store 25 in a memory location, and then we have named that memory location to be age. So whenever we call age in our JavaScript program, JavaScript will go and fetch the data that is available in that memory location that we have named age. So age is the label, all right, in that analogy of a boss, all right. Age is the label of the boss, while 25 is the value we stored inside of the boss. So in this case, age is the new name we have given the memory location, while 25 is the value that we stored in that memory location. Okay. So variables allow JavaScript to remember data. All right. Variables allow JavaScript to change data. Variables allow JavaScript to reuse data. All right. Variables allow JavaScript. Without variables, programming is impossible. In any programming language at all, programming is impossible without variables. So variables are very, very important. Okay. So why do we need variables? So without variables, these are the things we are going to be doing. Console.log John, console.log John, console.log John. We are not reusing data. We have one particular data value, this value John, John, John everywhere, but we are repeating it. This is very bad. It's a very bad practice. So now imagine I am your friend and I'm coming to your house. All right. Every time I come to your house, I will come with a cloth. I'm coming with a particular cloth. All right. Let's say I'm coming with my uniform. Okay, let's say we are going to a party and that party requires that we wear a uniform. So every time I'm coming with that uniform, I'll come with that uniform from my house every time. If I come 10 times for that event, I'm coming 10 times with that uniform. Why don't I keep that uniform in your house? Why don't I keep that uniform in your house so that whenever I'm coming, I don't have to come with that uniform. I'll just come and I'll wear it from your house. So instead of me coming to your house with that uniform, I should just keep that uniform in your house so that every time I come, I will just use it. So with variables, okay, we don't need to this value, John, we don't need to repeat it 3 times. We can just store the value in a variable. So this value is a value that a data we are storing in the memory location, telling JavaScript, keep this value in this memory location. Whenever I need it, I will use I will use whenever whenever I need it, I will collect it. So name is the memory location's address that we have renamed, or the boss label. Okay, but John is what is stored in the memory location. So now we can now say console.log name, 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 name. You understand? So name is a variable that we can reuse. This is a better approach than the former one. All right. So benefits, variables help us avoid repetition of code or repetition of a value. Yes, because in the other case, we were doing John, John, John three times. But when we stored it in a variable, we only have to use that value once, and then we are reusing the name. So it helps us to write cleaner code. It helps us to build real applications. Every website you use depends on variable. You cannot write any program. There's nothing like there's no software without variables. Okay. So now let's take a look at how do we create variables. All right, we are going to take a look at the let keyword. If you want to create a variable, you will start with let as a keyword. Then you give it the variable name and it said equal to 10. What we are doing here is variable assignment, variable initialization, variable assignment. Okay, we are doing variable declaration here, variable in assignment, variable initialization. Anyways, I'm not going to go deep into that details. I actually give this kind of information in my paid courses and in my mentorship programs. But here we are using the let keyword to create this variable. So the name of the variable is score, and we are saying equal to 10. So here we have created a variable. So if you want to change the value, you can change the value. So this is as simple as this. Let me give that same analogy. I'm coming to your house with a particular uniform. All right. I have stored it in that variable. Now I can change that uniform. Maybe I got a new one. I can just come and say, oh, my friend, replace the old uniform with this one. So I am changing the value. So if you store something if you store a data in the memory in memory location, you can actually still just change that value in the memory location. Okay, but there's something that happens behind the scene. This is somehow, I cannot explain all these things. These are the things I explain more in my paid courses or in my mentorship programs. Okay, there's more happening behind the scene here. So, but as simple as it is, you're just changing the value. So this is allowed to change value of a variable is allowed. Okay, but only when you're using the let keyword. All right. So while let exists, let is used when the value can change. You can use the let keyword to declare variables that the values can change. But whenever you have values that cannot change, you don't use the let keyword. Okay. So a user score can, let's say you're writing a game. You're writing a game. All right. User scores can always change. Counter can always change. Somebody's age input can always change. Login status can either be logged in or not logged in, so it can always change. So good practice here is that most of your variables will use let. Okay, but now we also have another way of creating variable using the const keyword. Whenever you have values that will never change, the name of your country will always be Nigeria. The name of your country will always be Ghana. The name of your country would always be United States of America. The name of your country would always be China. It can never change. So that is where you use const keyword. So whenever you have a variable that you are sure that the value will never change, you will use the const keyword. For me, all my variables, I use const keyword to create all of them. But while I am now writing the program, if there's any need for me to actually change it, I cannot change it. So let me give you an example. So I will go to our folder. Okay. So you might be thinking, oh, we are not doing, yeah, we are not writing more code here. Yes, don't, it's okay. We are just getting to understand better. So I will open my day one, and then I'm going to open um, this option. I'll open with Visual Studio Code. All right. So um, now I will go to my JS file, my JavaScript file. Okay. I can say, oops, sorry about that. So I can actually say, okay, if I say const um, name is equal to person, all right? So in this case, now this value can never change. So while I am writing it, within my program I have any reason to to change name like this, okay? If I have to change name to Paul, okay? Now the thing is that JavaScript will throw an error for me, okay? Okay, let me just say username. because this thing is giving me some weird thing. Okay. If I say username, okay. If I try to run this program, JavaScript will give me an error, will throw an error for me. Let me, okay, console.log. Okay. If I try to do this, JavaScript will throw an error. So let me run this thing with my terminal. I'm going to select, I don't want to run it with the browser. Let me run it in the terminal. Okay, let me run it without debugging. JavaScript will throw an error for me. Okay, you can see, look at the error message here. It says assignment to constant variable. So I'm trying to reassign. I'm trying to change the value of a constant variable. It says assignment to a constant variable is not allowed. So whenever I'm writing first of all, I would make sure that all my programs, all my variables, I use const keyword to declare all of them. But if for any reason while I'm writing my program and I found that, oh, I need to change the value, I'll just go back and make it to be let. Do you understand? So I always start with const. Then if for any reason there is any need for me to change the value, I can now, because const has so many advantages that I cannot explain here. So I have saved it. If I go on now to run it, now there will be no more, you will see there will be no error. Okay, you see, there is no error now. So I'm just trying to explain this concept to you now. All right. So now trying to change it would cause an error. You don't change your const variable. So if there's any need for you to change it, just you have to change the const keyword to let. Okay. So why const exists? Const is used when the value must change, must not change. So if you have any value that doesn't change, as the name of your country can never change. Okay, your website name can never change. The API URL can never change. The app version of your application can never change. So if you have things like this that do not change, pi in mathematics can never change. Pi has a constant value. Okay, it can never change. All right. So you can actually use const keyword for values that do not change. All right. So important note, const does not mean the value is frozen forever. It means that the variable reference cannot change. I cannot explain this thing too much. Okay. If I want to explain this whole thing now, we'll spend more time here. But this is kind of in my paid courses, in my JavaScript paid course, I actually have all these things explained like this, why the reason is this way. So now, but for now, use const keyword for values you don't want to change. Any value you don't want to change, use the const keyword. That is enough for now. Now, the var keyword is something that people used to use before, but it's very bad. It's no longer used. They don't use the var keyword to create your variables again. If you have been using the var keyword to create your variables before, stop it. Now, before I continue, if you know that you're getting value from this video, all right, comment, like, say something. What have you been learning so far? Now, the thing is that this program is free of charge. Let other people get to know it. So engage in this video. Engage with it. Comment, like, share, so that other YouTube can take it to other people, so that they can actually get to have the opportunity to also learn. Like I have told you, if you follow this free 30 days full stack series, you can become a full stack developer in 3 to 6 months. So let other people also enjoy. Remember, tech pays. This if you get this skill, it pays. Let other people have the opportunity to have access to this program. Share, like, comment, okay, so that YouTube can actually take it to other people. All right. So the var keyword, don't ever use it. Don't you ever use it. VAR is very bad. It has no block scope. I cannot explain this thing here. These are the things I explain in my paid course. Why VAR is bad, what is block scope, because it causes bugs, it causes a confusing behavior. All right. Important rule. Do not use var in modern JavaScript. Sure, don't you ever use var when you're declaring variables. Use the let keyword or the constant keyword. var exists only because old JavaScript used it. We are now using the new JavaScript. You may use it in old tutorials, but don't use it in new JavaScript. Modern JavaScript uses the let keyword or the constant keyword only. So now let's take a look at the let keyword, the constant keyword, and the var. The feature, let keyword the value can change, all right? But the constant keyword, the value cannot change. But for var, the value can also change. But remember, don't use it. Block scoped, let keyword is block scoped, constant is block scoped, var is not block scoped. We might be explaining scope later on. So modern JavaScript, let keyword. Constant is modern JavaScript. Var is not constant Java, is not modern JavaScript. Recommended, use the let keyword, the constant keyword, but don't never use the var keyword. Okay. So the golden rule for beginners: use const. Use const to declare your variable by default. Use the const keyword to declare your variables by default. Use let when value will change, just like I have explained to you in the code. If there's any need that it will not change, you can now change it back to let keyword. Avoid the var keyword completely. Okay. Common beginners mistake: using var. Don't you ever use var. Forgetting to use let or const keyword. Redeclaring variables. Okay. Redeclaring variables using confusing names. Now, let me show you what these redeclaring variables mean. If I go on now to this my program here, this is variable. Okay, I didn't explain this because there was no time. Okay, and these are the things I teach in my paid courses. If I do this now, if I remove this like this is variable declaration. If I do this, this is both variable declaration and both. Okay, let me take some time and explain. Okay, if I do this, this is variable declaration. If I come and say username is equal to this is variable assignment. But I can do the three of them at the same place. If I come and say let user equal to John. I am doing both variable declaration and variable assignment the same place. So this is variable declaration. This one is variable assignment. This is both of them, both variable declaration and variable assignment. So in this case, we can call this one variable initialization. The third one is variable initialization. Variable initialization is both when you do declaration and assignment on the same line. Okay. So now I cannot come and redeclare this username. I cannot come and say let. So what I'm doing here is I'm redeclaring. You cannot redeclare variable. You can see that it's giving me errors already. I have declared it here before, and I'm coming here to redeclare it. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. Okay. All right. So let username is equal to 18. This is a good example. Const app name equals to JS Academy. These are good examples. Okay. So final summary, variable store information. All right. This data, this information is stored in the memory location. Okay. Memory location of your computer. All right. Then we now give it a fancy name, age, username, so that we can use it to get the value. So let is with the let, the value can change. With constant keyword, the value should not change. Var is added, avoid it. Okay. If you understand variables, JavaScript becomes easier instantly. Okay. So call to action. Practice this today. Create variables, change them, break them, declare variables, initialize variables, do a variable assignment. Okay, just play around with them. But most importantly, the next video we will talk about JavaScript data types. Okay, the next video, the part 2 of the 2, this will make variables even clearer. But the most important thing is for you to subscribe if you've not subscribed, turn on notifications if you have not, share, like, comment, tell us what you learned, what impresses you about this video, how did you enjoy this video, and I will see you in the next class. Okay.